So, happy 4th, everybody. Just going for a little bit of a walk around the Maple Valley area. Some things are going to happen, so I apologize for them ahead of time. But right in that area, right behind me is where my parents' place are. So, right in that area is where they set off a lot of fireworks across the street here. And that fence and those trees are where my parents' place are. So, across that is where they set fireworks off where they're not supposed to. And it's like, are they setting fireworks off or are they setting a bomb off? So it kind of sounds like that. So it kind of sounds like they're setting a bomb off. So, and there's cars coming as you see. So you're going to hear a lot of noise in the background. Blessings, I'm doing a loud, that too, live vlog. So, also, next to my parents' house was right over there. Next to my parents' house, there's a woman who has some dogs. And their dogs are they bark if air blows by the fence. They bark over everything. And they don't just bark. They're yippers. So it's constant, and it's constant. And almost through every hour of every part of the day. It's constant. So, I think I've heard my parents say, like, disturbing the peace or something like that, and I get it. Yeah, they're constantly, like, yippers. So, that would drive just about anybody nuts. So, yeah. So, that's what that is. That's what they do. One thing I wanted to mention is what I've been getting. This is what I'm walking down this road here. This is what I like. See, right here, tip the camera down, is that paint there, the orange paint, tells you that there's uneven ground. So that marks where there's uneven ground. So you know to watch your step and to know the ground is uneven. So I'm kind of walking and making note of that, looking ahead and making note of that. So, but the one thing I was going to mention, or I wanted to mention, was that I know I probably mentioned it before. The show now, because I've been studying it, it's been interesting to me. The show Supergirl with Melissa Benoist and Katie McGrath and Shyler Lee. So I've been curious about it because I know there's a movie coming out with Millie Alcock as Supergirl. So I've just been interested in it, and just kind of studying more about it and seeing more of the background behind it and stuff like that. So it's actually, I may have said this before, so I apologize for the repetition, but from what I've been able to deduce, Supergirl is actually older than Superman. Now, because Supergirl's name, her real name, and I forget how this goes through the Kryptonian, hierarchy, how the children get their names, where their names come from. I forget how that goes. But Supergirl's name is actually Kara Zor-El. So she adopted her first name, kept her first name, and her family on Earth adopted her. So she became part of the Danvers family. And she was sent to Earth to, as my understanding, is to watch over and protect Kal-El, Superman, Clark Kent. Now, she's actually older than Clark Kent. So, because Clark was sent to Earth, obviously, when Krypton was destroyed, Clark was sent to Earth as a child, as a baby, and he landed in Smallville, and the Kents adopted him, and everything along those lines. Kara was a teenager, 13, 14, when Krypton was destroyed, when she left and she was sent away. She was sent, like I said, is my understanding, to protect Earth and to watch over and protect Kal-El. But she was sent to the area where she ended up is a different area than Smallville, where Kal-El ended up. So it was kind of like, how was she sent to watch over him? Was she more sent to protect Earth and to protect Earth citizens and Earth than to watch over him? And it just happened to be like a side effect that she was sent to watch over him. So that's kind of interesting to find out how all that happened, and that was interesting to me. But what strikes me more as more interesting, and I get why they're making a Supergirl movie, what strikes me as more interesting is that Supergirl is more, she's more, it's a hard word choice here. It's more of a humanitarian story and more of a vulnerability. She's more human than Superman. She has more of a, at least from what I've gotten, from how Melissa Benoist played her, she has more of a human side than a Kryptonian side, even though she is Kryptonian. She has more of a human side than Clark does, than Kal-El does. Now, it's kind of interesting to say that because Superman has been on Earth since he was a baby, so he's had a chance to be around humanity for much longer. But she's developed her humanity and her vulnerability much more than he has. And from what I've seen, I guess the best way to put it is that when you watch Superman, it's like Superman is Clark Kent. Supergirl is not Kara. Kara is Supergirl. And I mean that to say, like, maybe more so that one defies or defines the other. That Clark tends to rely on his superhuman abilities and his superhuman side. Superman tends to be more who he is than it's kind of like Supergirl is Kara's just her side identity. Who Supergirl really is Kara. That's who she is. And what makes, like her sister, yes, her adopted sister, like her sister says, Supergirl isn't you. You are Supergirl. You are super. You are the hero, not this other identity you created. And That's what I like about what I've seen clips and stuff from Supergirl and how Melissa Benoist played her, is that the superhero isn't this identity, isn't this character. The superhero is the identity. What makes the superhero is the person that she becomes. What makes, and that's what I like about it. That's what I really like about, like I said, like I keep saying about how Melissa Benoist played her, is what makes Supergirl super is Kara. What makes Clark super is Superman. That's who, while Superman is his identity, is who he is, and who gives him strength and power. It's not what gives Kara strength and power. What gives Kara her ability and her strength and power is her humanity, is who she is as a person. And you can tell from watching the show, and you can tell from the way Melissa Benoist plays her, it's what makes Kara powerful is her humanity and her ability and her strength and her power and her abilities and her powers. It's just a side effect. It's just a side effect of, it's just like, yeah, it's just a side effect. So what makes her powerful is her humanity, what gives her strength. And that's what makes the show great. Another thing that's also beautiful and great about the show and about the character is it establishes why I've mentioned this to my friends and my producers. And so Kara's sister Alex is gay, and she marries Jimmy Olsen's sister, Kelly Olsen. And the whole thing, I love the way they handled it. The whole way is that Alex had a hard time coming out saying that, coming out to her mom, coming out to her sister. Alex had a hard time with it because she didn't. I mean, she was coming to terms with it for herself, but she had a hard time with it. But Kara's reaction and her mother Eliza's reactions was like how my producer has always said her mother's reaction was. So what? And my producer says when she came out to her brother and to her twin sister, their reaction was like, so? Like she said, I'm gay. And they said, so? Like, see, I told you something was going to happen. See, I told you, I knew it. I knew something was going to happen, was going to fall out of my ear. I knew it. And it just did. So the whole reaction was, like I said, when she came out, when Sirius came out to her twin sister and her brother, and even her family, they were like, so? Like, I thought you were going to say something important. And it's not, they don't understand the importance of it. They do. But, like, I thought the way you were saying it, you thought that it was going to matter to us. And her twin sister and her brother and her mother his mother has said, it doesn't. Like, you're gay, so what? It doesn't change who you are. It will never change who you are. You're our sister. You're our daughter. That will never change. And that's more important. And so that will always be the more important thing. And so that's what Kara's reaction was when Alex came out. And that's what, and Kara's mom, Eliza, that's what Eliza's reaction was when Alex came out. Like, so what? Like, like Eliza actually said, "Oh, my beautiful girl." It doesn't. This doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And that's what her twin sister and her brother and her mother said to us. It doesn't matter. What matters is that the only thing her mom has said, the only thing I've ever wanted was for you to find what you deserve, what every single person on this earth deserves, to find companionship and to find love and to find what makes you happy and what makes you feel comfortable. And that's the only thing she ever wanted for her kids. And Sirius's mother has several times said, "It doesn't matter to me who you love. It just love someone. It doesn't matter who it is." And that was Eliza's reaction to Alex coming out. And Kara's reaction was, "It doesn't matter. Just love someone. We want you to be happy." And they can see throughout the whole show, you can see how much how much Alex means to Kelly, and how much Kelly means to Alex. And that's the only thing that matters to Kara and to Eliza. And that's what's great about the show. The humanity of the way Melissa plays Supergirl. And it shows you, like I said, it shows you the humanity of superheroes. It shows you the humanity of. I'm gonna walk. There's someone on this side of the street. I'm gonna walk to the other side of the street because there's two people over there, and I'm gonna get in their way. So. So yeah, walk back to the other side of the street. That's what I would recommend to everyone. To watch the show, to get into it, to get a kick out of it, to enjoy it. And it also shows that the different levels. It shows different levels of love, and that what Sirius's wife what Kaylee has said, and she gets it, that Kara loves her best friend, and her best friend is Lex Luthor's sister, Lena Luthor. And Lena has always said that people look at her last name and expect something out of her, expect a behavior, expect her to behave a certain way because she's a Luthor, because that's her last name, and because of what Lex did. Now, some of my favorite Lexes I've ever seen was in the show was Jon Cryer. He played Lex in the TV show, and I like Jon Cryer a lot. I know in the movie with David Corenswet as Superman, Lex was Nicholas Hoult. So, but it was, so my favorite Lex, one of my favorite villains was Jon Cryer, who was in the Supergirl TV show. Now, getting back to what I was saying, you can tell that Kara and Lena are very, very close. Like, sorry, I'm adjusting. So that was why it went away from my mouth. I was adjusting, as I am now. I was adjusting the earpiece. So, Kara and Lena are very close. Like, they're best friends. And they love each other. And you can tell that they care about each other that way. That they love each other as friends, as only a best friend ever could. And Kaylee's like that with her best friend, or her best friend, Michaela. And at her wedding, Michaela walked Kaylee down the aisle. And Michaela was Kaylee's maid of honor. And Sirius's twin sister, Alyssa, was her maid of honor. Also walked her down the aisle. So she understands that. And there are times where sure they had bumpy roads. Sure, Cara and Lena had a bumpy road. But you can tell throughout the whole episode, throughout it, the whole series, is that they were meant for each other. They were friends and they were meant for each other. And you can tell that Lena wanted to be different. She didn't want to carry everything that came with the Luthor name, all because of what Lex did. She didn't want to have that connection, that fame. She didn't want to carry everything that came with the Luthor name. She wanted to make a difference. She wanted to be different. She wanted to be a good person. And Kara always saw that. There were things that they did to each other that made them dislike each other or made them get angry and disenchanted with each other. But you can tell that kind of love is the kind of love that friends have for each other. And that no one has it like Cara and Lena did. And they were meant for each other. And you can tell that. And they're very close to each other. And they meant a lot to each other. And Lena was Katie McGrath, who played her. So it's a great show. And I know I've talked ad nauseum at length about it, but it's a great show. Everyone would enjoy it. It's a really great show. So I'm curious as to see what Millie Alcock is going to do with Supergirl. But my favorite Supergirl right now is Melissa Benoist. And Lena is Katie McGrath. And Alex is Schuyler Lee. I forget who plays Kelly. I forget that. But you'll have to forgive me. I forget that. So, if I would recommend a show, or I would recommend a way a superhero is portrayed, I would recommend Supergirl. And particularly the TV show, the way Melissa Benoist played Supergirl. With the sense of humanity that Kara was a superhero, not Supergirl. So it's great. So I would heavily recommend everyone checking that out. Thank you all so much for watching. Hit that follow and the thumbs up button for me.